Mazz was off last week as the Red Sox traded for Sonny Gray. What are your thoughts on that transaction, Mazz?
I'm fine with the move. He's not a number 2 starter. I mean, this idea that he is a number 2 starter is wrong. He's not.
Do you think that that's all they're going to do there?
I fear that. I mean, I serious fear about that. If they add a guy in front of Sonny Gray, it'll be better. But I would tell you, I have a lot of concerns about Gray. And if you want to stick him in the middle of your rotation, you get 2 or 3 other guys, fine, no problem. But I don't know if he's the kind of guy you want to rely on in a big game either.
He's not a number 2, and it's all they're doing.
Right, and even if he is a number 2, he's not a big game number 2. So, like, he's got a history. When he was at the Yankees, he kind of turtled. He was kind of sackless.
So I'm okay with the pitcher. Like, the player's fine. I hate the nature of the deal, and even more so, Mazz, is just the bull crap that I just have to sift through that to me now becomes a story. I mean, this all started 2 weeks ago, and you remember I read this line from Alex Spear and sort of laughed at it. When Alex Spear wrote 2 weeks ago that at the GM meetings, Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow said the Sox want to add a middle-of-the-order power hitter and a number 2 starter. Those are big-ticket items, writes Spear. But the Red Sox wouldn't declare those areas as priorities if they didn't think they could afford the spending or trade commitments needed to acquire them. And I laughed at that line when it was written. I said, well, you just started covering the team? You've never heard the Red Sox pump up a bunch of bull crap and blow a bunch of sunshine up your ass just to turn around and do nothing? That's all they've done for 5 years. So how could you say that, Alex? And, well, here we go. Because when he says that Breslow indicated they're going to add a middle-of-the-order power hitter and a number 2 starter, did anyone have Sonny Gray?
No.
As the number 2 starter?
No.
But this is what they're doing, and they took money in return, Mazz.
Bingo. So that's the other thing.
They took money in return. Gross.
If Sonny Gray is so good, why did the Cardinals have to eat some of the money? Can someone answer me that
exactly
question?
Right. I mean,
if he's that good, why did St. Louis have to eat the money to get rid of him?
And if St. Louis hadn't have eaten the money, would the Red Sox have traded for the player?
No.
It's about the contract. Alex, everybody else, it's about the contract. Not about winning at the highest level. It's about the deal and their payroll and their finances. It's not about adding a number 2 starter or a middle-order power bat. It's spending a certain amount of money. That's what it's about. And, shame on anyone who's been around and knows it to take the cheese like that. And that didn't take long for them to pull the wool right over your eyes, yank the football away. Sonny Gray plus money from the St. Louis Cardinals. Give me a break.
Oh, it was a total budget move. That's what it was. It was a complete budget move. I mean, I don't even see where it's even remotely debatable. Frankly, like I look at it and say, what real evidence is there to suggest he's a number 2 starter? What are they basing that on? He's not.
So here's some more. So again, listen to the slow trickle of where we start with Alex and the Red Sox saying going big for a number 2 starter and a middle of the order bat. Adding a middle of the order bat. Adding. Okay, now you've got your number 2 starter. It's 36-year-old Sonny Gray plus money from St. Louis. Ugh. Alex wrote on Sunday.
He's a better Lucas Giolito is what he is. Keep going.
Potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if he'll be better than Giolito.
That's totally fair.
Giolito was good last year.
That's totally fair. You're right. Absolutely. He's Lucas Giolito is what he is.
He's
a replacement for Lucas Giolito.
At best, he's what Lucas Giolito was last year.
Yep.
So you didn't add anything. Now Alex wrote on Sunday. It feels like I'm beating up on Alex. I don't. I like him a lot. Like message. Everybody. It's just I know where it's coming from. I know. I think as much as anyone, he kind of speaks for the team, or they're through him. Like it's like listen to Mike Reese. You got to read these guys and listen to these guys.
He's connected
because I think they reflect. They reflect what's coming from the organization. So it's valuable insight. So I'm not really yelling at Alex. It's just the messaging of the team and the bull crap. So now on Sunday, Alex Spear wrote that the Sox want to add a top position player this offseason, whether through a reunion with third baseman Alex Bregman or another bat, such as first baseman Pete Alonso. Let me ask you something. Is Alex Bregman signing with the Red Sox, adding a top position player?
No, it's staying where you were.
That's how they're going to message it.
Of course.
That's how they're going to.
So greasy.
So you don't get to add Pete Alonso to Alex Bregman. It's going to be
Replace.
It's going to be either Bregman or Pete Alonso.
Right.
It's not. You're not adding anything. You're not adding Sonny Gray to Lucas Giolito. You're replacing Lucas Giolito with Sonny Gray, and it turns out to be the same thing with Alex Bregman or Pete Alonso. You're not adding anything.
No, this was like that John Morosi report when he said they'll be in good shape if they get either or, when in fact they need both. Keep going.
So, see, even assuming they do so, again, Bregman or Alonso, multiple sources suggest they're open to adding an additional complementary positional player. One intriguing possibility is switch-hitting infielder Jorge Polanco, who slashed his blah, 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 and then all the numbers. Your thoughts on Polanco?
Okay, what did it say? Can you keep, before I even say, read the next line on Polanco.
The 32-year-old played second base and third for the Mariners and is open to adding first base to add to his versatility.
Okay, he played second base and third base for the Mariners. He played 5 games at third base. He played 38 at second. You know where he played the rest of the time?
I don't even know.
DH!
I was going to say DH?
Another DH. So now they're going to sell a DH to me as a second baseman when he's been one of the worst. This is another thing that I hate. I hate it. I hate this move. I can't stand it. So they're going to, he can play second and third. He doesn't play either one of them well.
Precedent also suggests, Mazz, that the Sox will keep exploring rotation upgrades even after their trade for Sonny Gray. Last offseason, after the Sox traded for Garrett Crochet, for example, they explored other high-end trade options before adding Walker Buehler.
Who sucked.
Sucks.
And paid him $21 million.
So this is what they're doing. They are going after the contracts. They're taking some swings with some older players on 1-year commitments. And if they flame out like Walker Buehler or Paxton Crawford.
James Paxton.
James Paxton, excuse me.
Garrett Richards, the whole lot of them.
Those guys, well, it's 1 year, and okay, we wasted some money, but we're not. Meanwhile, who did the Blues Jays just Dylan Cease?
Dylan Cease.
7 years, $210 million. So that's what you're doing if you're really looking to upgrade.
Correct.
Is you're going out and you're spending real money on a real starting pitcher. And it's laughable. I don't know. Laughable to, I don't know. Well, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. I never took the cheese. Never took the cheese. Laughable to say, well, the Red Sox, they wouldn't imply that they'd be willing to do this unless they were really willing to do it. That's what's laughable. They're just, once again, trying to prime the pump, tease you a little bit. They have no intention of spending real money and playing with the big boys financially again. That's not what they want to do. They're in on contracts. They're not in on players. And I guess it frustrates me. I find it laughable that the coverage doesn't reflect it. It frustrates me.
Well, it should frustrate you because it's exactly what they're doing. And the Toronto thing is the best example of the whole thing. The Blue Jays were just in the World Series. They smell it. They want to win. And they say, we're going to go out and get another starting pitcher because we basically ran out of arms in the playoffs. So we're going to go get another legit guy. That's what we're going to do.
They're more worried about the contracts than the players. Get it through your heads. It's been that way for half
a long time now.
Half a decade, and it's not changing anytime soon. Spear wrote on November 26, Breslow declined to say if Gray would serve as the number 2 starter, but identified traits in the pitcher that fulfill the job description. He's a guy that has pitched in the front of the rotation. Those things that pitchers carry from year to year are strikeout rates and walk rates and the ability to stay off barrels. He excels there. Breslow declined to say if Gray would serve as the number 2. Why did you think he declined?
Because he knows he's not good enough.
He doesn't want to deal with blowback either.
Because he knows how this looks.
Yes.
He knows it's second city TV kind of stuff. It's second tier. It's a second tier move. He knows how this plays with the fan base. That's what you come home with as your number 2 starter. 36-year-old Sonny Gray plus money from an NL Central team. That's your number 2 starter. He knows how that plays, so he can't admit that he's our number 2. So he leaves that unanswered. He's smart enough to know how this plays. And, well, just again, get it through your skull. They're just worried about the contracts.
I'm telling you, Sonny Gray is ballless.
Never mind the fact that he's testicularly challenged. Sean McAdam tweeted this over the. So this is another thing that bothers me. Again, the coverage. According to industry sources familiar with the organization's thinking, the Red Sox are okay going over the first CBT, first tax threshold, set at $244 million for the upcoming season, which would translate to them absorbing a modest financial loss. But with anything beyond that, there's a reluctance to incur bigger deficits. So they're not going to sign anyone seriously. You might get Bregman or Alonso. You're not getting both. They're not adding anything. They're not adding a number 2 starter. They've just replaced Giolito, and they're not adding a middle-of-the-order bat. They're either bringing back Bregman or replacing him with Alonso or someone like that. That's what they're doing. They're not adding. And it's because they don't want to add payroll. That's what they care about, their payroll. But I don't like it when Sean, who we've known forever, I also like, but he writes that if the Sox go well beyond that first CBT threshold, that would translate to them absorbing a modest financial loss. According to who? Like, is he saying they'd be in the red? Like, on a cash-in, cash-out basis? Is that what he's implying?
For the season, I think that's what he means.
He's saying, so that would mean that they would be not... that if they go much farther into the CBT, they would cease to be profitable as a franchise, as an organization?
In 2026 is what I think he means.
Is that what he's saying?
Probably.
Or they'd be underwater on that specific transaction?
No, he's saying bigger than the transaction.
So the Sox are okay going over the first CBT threshold set at $244 million for 2026, which would translate to them absorbing a modest financial loss. Okay. According to who? You know, I would like for Sean or anyone who reports like this, and it never gets done because the folks at cover just take the team's word for it, but don't take these teams' word for it.
They claim they would be.
They claim.
Right.
Exactly. The Sox are okay going over the first CBT threshold, which would, according to the team, translate to them absorbing a modest financial loss, or comma, they claim.
Right.
We're going to take them at their word that if they spend $260, now we're in the red? We're going to take them at their word for that. Well, let's open up the books then. Let's see. Let's see those numbers. We're just going to take it on face value that now all of a sudden they're losing money, which I categorically don't believe. But if they're not going to show you their books, which they never will, because then we're going to find out just what they're paying themselves in their role. Like if the Dallas Cowboys ever open up their books, what do you think Jerry Jones pays himself as general manager?
$20 million?
Yeah.
What do you think he includes as operating expenses? His 2 helicopters, 3 yacht, like those are operating expenses. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
If they opened up the books, you know what they pay themselves, what they write off as business expenses. So, like, until they open up their books, you just can't say that signing player X would put them in the red unless they show. They claim, they say, they maintain. Right? That's how you've got to report that.
Absolutely right.
Oh my God! Do not
the words make all the difference there.
Do not take them at their word, and Sean knows it. Like, I don't mean to beat him up, but it's like that. That little thing crawls up my ass. Don't give these teams the benefit of the doubt.
And the Red Sox can absorb a little bit more than a modest loss. They should be willing at least to go up to the 285 range, which I think is where the next threshold is. There's a threshold, and I can't remember exactly where it is, Mike, where you then start to suffer some draft penalties. And even then, the draft penalties aren't that bad. You drop 10 spots for crying out loud, which isn't that bad. It's not like you lose the pick entirely. You drop 10 spots, but that aside, they should be able to go $40 million over that number, up to that.
You know, it's I don't want to get too far into it, but, you know, Hal Steinbrenner is doing the same. At least Steinbrenner's saying it in his own words, as opposed to Henry, who's afraid to say it. At least Hal Steinbrenner puts his name to it. Hal Steinbrenner said that, he said, quote, okay, so first of all, the Yankees payroll finished at $319 last year. $319 million. Again, you were around the 240 range. Steinbrenner said, would it be ideal if I went down in payroll? Of course.
At least he owns it.
But does that mean it's going to happen? Of course not. Do you know what Hal Steinbrenner also did, which Henry's done? Blame how much it costs to staff his operations, his analytics department, his off-field department. He says he says we can talk before Cashman goes into the winter meetings about a payroll range, but because it's a fluid situation, that range can go bye-bye in 2 seconds. If there's a deal that arises that I feel would be very beneficial to some area of need that we have. A reporter then said he had seen it suggested that the Yankees' revenues were over $700 million. The reporter then asked if it was fair to assume the Yankees made a profit this year. Quote, "No," Steinbrenner said. "It's not fair, actually." But do the Yankees lose money, he was asked? "I don't want to get into it," said Steinbrenner. But that's not a fair statement or an accurate statement. At least he's answering the questions himself, but he's trying to weasel out of the money too. Crazy. He said all the off-field stuff, it all starts to add up in a hurry, he said. Nobody spends more money, I don't believe, on player development, scouting, or performance science. Performance science.
Yeah, the biomechanists.
These all start to add up, said Steinbrenner. If you want to go look at all the revenues, you got to somehow try to figure out the expense side as well. You might be surprised. He's bitching about how much they have to spend on their front office.
He is.
And the nerds. And that's why we can't spend on the players, because of all of the performance science that they've invested in.
The biomechanists.
They're doing the same crap.
They are.
But they at least are spending over $300 million. And they are going deep into the tax. You're still stuck right around the tax line.
Yeah, look, I don't expect the Red Sox to spend what the Dodgers spend, but if the whole idea is when we get to the point where we're ready to win, that we will spend, well, then when you get to the point where you're ready to win, you have to spend. And I think the Red Sox are pretty much there. They brought up all these young guys. They're ready to go. It's time to win. That's what it is. And all of a sudden it's, well, yeah, but... So they fed you bullcrap the last time, and now they're feeding you more bullcrap.
They're just concerned about the payroll. Get it through your head. They're concerned about the total payroll. They're concerned about the cash in, cash out. They're concerned about the CBT. That's what they're concerned with. That's how they're building their roster. And any reporting the otherwise is either just not getting it or disingenuous. That's it. And when they tell you, if we sign player X, we'll be in the red, don't take them at their word. They're probably lying, because that's usually what happens, and we all know it by now.